I do have a genuine concern that some salespeople are going to miss the bus. I really don't want that stuff to happen. We don't want salespeople to get left behind because they're not able to adapt. They're not able to make the changes, to make the evolutions to be relevant, to be current. So how can we do stuff? How can we do stuff? Well, we can adapt to change in each of those areas. We can adapt to the customer change, the climate change, and the changing change. So let's have a brief think about how we can do this. Again, stuff that I'm covering in the book and helping people to understand. So when we talk about customers being more advanced, further down the buying cycle, having more information, trying to self-diagnose, one of the things that we can do is we can start to align with them. We can start to make sure that we're doing the things that make most sense for them, and whether that's fitting in with a process that they're comfortable with, or guiding them through a process because it might be something they don't understand how to do. That's where we can be far more useful, far more relevant to them. When we think about this bias or this demanding approach that salespeople have, this is where we need to think about how do we balance up the way in which we operate? How can we do the things which make most sense to them? And when we're thinking about this confusion that customers have, as a salesperson, we can help them clarify. Now, I talked about the VUCA model. There's a fantastic model that was developed in the 80s by a guy called Bob Johansson called VUCA Prime. And what this does is it matches the elements of VUCA in ways in which you can kind of counter them. Volatility, it's countered by giving vision. Uncertainty by understanding, complexity with clarity, and the ambiguity by agility. A salesperson can massively add value, I believe, in helping bring those to the party in their discussions with customers. That's a very modern way of selling when we talk about adding value. So that's certainly things that we can do as salespeople to be more modern and become more buyer-centric in the way that we deal with customers. When we think about the climate, the sales climate, this is about contextual judgment. It's about thinking about the best way to operate that's going to make most sense for customers and for self. So when we're thinking about the type of sale, it's about picking a way that works. It works for yourself and for the customers. So it's about transforming a sales approach into something that is relevant, is consistent. When we think about the techniques we use, it's about tailoring the approaches, is taking the things which are going to work, which are useful, which are helpful, and using those on a consistent basis. And when we think about technology, this is about us taking control of the technology, not letting it lead us, not letting it frighten us, but using it to do the things it's designed for. Technology can do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. So embracing that and thinking about what our TQ is. Now I talk about PQ in book number 1, which is partnering skills. Justin Michael's written an excellent book about technical sales, and he talks about TQ. So think about how can we raise our technological quotient to be using these things to help us in what it is that we're doing. So broad ways in which we can counter these. It's not something we should be frightened of. I'm a glass half full sort of person, and I really do think massive opportunity as a sales professional to be able to step up and really make a difference for customers. The changing change. So this is about being savvy about what's going on. So it's just understanding, is the water boiling around me? Is it something that I need to adapt to? Is it something I need to change? And how can I do that? I like to think about the stance that we have with changes to be smooth in the way that we adapt. Now, whether it's initiator, whether it's adapter, then it's something that we certainly want to try and make the journey for ourselves and our customers as easy as possible. And with speed, we need to be slick. Slickness in selling. Interesting word, perhaps, because slickness, when we talk about someone who's slick, I looked this up when I was writing a book, and it talks about, it's in the book, I'm just going to look down at my notes here. It says, slickness, hanky-panky, hocus-pocus, jiggery-pokery, skullduggery, trickery. I am not preaching any of those. Slickness could also be used to indicate clever. And that is how I want you to take this. Smoothness and slickness together, the way I feel this is, and the way we want to work with customers is we want to give them this limousine ride. So think about, we're putting them in a Maybach, we're sat together with them, we're there, we're in luxury, the thing, it glides, it takes off. We barely notice, but these things can go really fast. If we can sit our customers beside us and work like that, that's a way that's going to help us be really, really effective. So use those words advisedly, the slickness, the smoothness, and the speed, but we can definitely give customers a fantastic experience with that way of working. I suppose other limousines are available, but I like my Maybach because it's a bit different, not as common as the other limousines.